amongst the 4 groups in the tournament A to D. Kenya is pooled in Group A, together with Morocco, Angola, DR Congo, and Zambia.
Algeria from the set piece, the header is on target, but it's saved.
This unique competition featuring the best locally based players from across the continent definitely has something for everyone. Just bring your A game as you let it flow live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Alright, listen up. Colgate is on a mission.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
New Colgate Herbal with Salt combines traditional nature's herbs with a pinch of salt and Colgate Science. A natural recipe for strong teeth and healthy gums.
Children are a blessing. Children are considered a blessing, but there are times when it turns to be a burden. And there comes in mental instability or lack of mental awareness as well as health. We're talking about postpartum depression, and tonight on Sunday Express, we're going to be addressing the stigma around postpartum depression and capacity building for those who may be dealing with postpartum depression. Again, statistics that indicate in the rural areas, the prevalence rate is around 11 to 14%, while in urban areas, we're looking at a prevalence of between 17 to 23%. Good evening, this is Sunday Express on the 8th of June 2025. I'm Regina Manyara. Before we discuss family matters focusing on postpartum depression, let's have a look at what has been making headlines.
No amount of intimidation or name calling is going to change my course, because I have an assignment to transform Kenya.
We are staying the course. President William Ruto tells of his critics, saying he will not be sidetracked by the political noise. Police on the spot. Family of blogger Albert Omondi refutes police report on his cause of death. And political drumbeats. Weekend of politics as opposition leaders pitch tent in the coastal region while the Kenya Kwanza leaders camp in Ukambani. Good evening. It's at the top of the hour, and this is Sunday Express. I'm Regina Manyara. My colleague is none other than Lancer Odengo. Now, President William Ruto has reaffirmed the government's commitment to delivering key development programs, among them affordable housing, the Social Health Authority and agricultural reforms, insisting political pressure will not derail his agenda. President Ruto, who spoke during a Sunday church service in Makadara, Nairobi County, told off his critics, saying he has no time for retrogressive politics.
The head of state, who spoke on Sunday at a church in Nairobi, reaffirmed his commitment to Kenyans, saying he will not be deterred by naysayers and critics of government projects.
I am committed, I am determined, I am focused on transforming Kenya. And no amount of intimidation or name calling is going to change my course, because I have an assignment to transform Kenya. Tunaelewana jameni? Na niko na muda ya kutosha ya kunyorosha hii maneno. I have enough time.
Tusikubali chochote. Tusikubali yeyote. Tusikubali wale wanapanda juu ya magari wanatupa maneno. Wewe ukitupa maneno kama hayo, wewe ni kiongozi, wewe ni mzazi, unatarajia mtoto wako atatupa gani kesho? Tunaonesha watoto wetu nini?
The president emphasized that he is determined to transform Kenya through the implementation of his administration's key pillars, particularly the affordable housing and the universal health coverage.
Story ni imekuwa mingi. Hii affordable housing imekuweko for 30 years, haijafanyika. Universal health coverage for 30 years, haijafanyika. Ni kweli ama si kweli? This is the time to do it. And I am the person to do it. Singojei mwingine.
Sasa hii kelele wanapiga wanasema tujenge tu nyumba. Remember, affordable does not mean cheap. We're not creating vertical slums. We're creating a place where mtu pali yuko. Asubuhi ukiamka, mtoto wako anaweza enda shule ama aende kwa daycare. Unaweza nunua kitu kwa soko. Kukiwa na emergency, kuna gari ya moto hapo.
The president also noted that so far 23 million Kenyans have been registered under the new social health authority system designed to make healthcare universally accessible.
Mimi nataka tu niwahakikishie ya kwamba mpango wetu wa afya itahakikisha ya kwamba hata yule mama mboga ambaye hajawahi kulipiwa na serikali ya Kenya, hajui bima ya afya ni nini, hata wao wataenda hospitali, watatibiwa, wataenda nyumbani, serikali ya Kenya kupitia kwa SHA italipa malipo yao ya matibabu.
For Sunday Express, I'm Gladys Mongai.
From church, the Law Society of Kenya has called for a thorough probe into the death of blogger Albert Ojwang, who died under mysterious circumstances in the hands of police officers at the Central Police Station in Nairobi. Albert Ojwang was reportedly arrested by police officers in Homa Bay County on Saturday afternoon. The police said they were probing him over a post he made on his X account. According to his family, they arrived at Central Police Station Sunday morning to follow up on the case, only to be informed of his death. In a statement, the National Police Service confirmed that Albert Omondi was lawfully arrested by the police but sustained injuries after hitting his head on the cell wall. The statement further says, upon noticing the injuries, the officers on duty rushed Omondi to Mbagathi Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The family has, however, dismissed this information, saying the claims by police are not consistent with the injuries on Omondi's body.
Nielezea bwana OCPD kwamba amejigonga kwenye ukuta, nikapata habari tofauti, kwa sababu macho yamefunga na uso umefura kuanzia hapa peke yake kuja kwa mdomo na pua na mdomo natoka damu, nafuja damu. Pia yuko na majeraha eneo la kwenye nini hapa, kwenye mkono hapa.
The parents ought to have been informed. He ought to have been given an opportunity to come before a court of law and, if found guilty, held accountable. However, what we see is not consistent. We have laws that govern both the police and the citizens. And to see a situation whereby somebody can walk in alive and come back in a body bag is taking us back to the dark days before this new constitution. And we are saying we will not accept the same, and we will push for accountability. We hope that IPOA officers will be back to view and collect evidence, because we will also hold IPOA accountable.
That's a developing story that we're going to be keenly focusing on as it unfolds. Now, a police station and homes of police officers manning the Gitama police station in Igembe North have been burnt down. The incident followed a violent protest by local youth in response to the arrest of their counterpart, who they believed was being held at the police station. The suspect, who has been arrested for allegedly fatally stabbing someone from the neighboring village, had however been moved to a different location. The incident has fueled tension among area residents. Ben Chumba now reports.
In the heart of Igembe North, the charred remains of KK Gitama police post tell a story of a rising tension and a community on edge. 4 officers lost not only their place of work, but also their homes when angry youth set the entire post ablaze. The attack was reportedly triggered by the arrest of a local youth accused of fatally stabbing another person in the neighboring village of Manyara.
Askari waliposhika huyo mwenye alikuwa anadunga mwingine, ndio sasa hiyo vijana wakaatake pia wakachoma kambi. Kwa hivyo hiyo kijana ambaye alidungwa alikufa, huyo mwingine sijui ako wapi.
But police had already transferred the suspect to Lare police station. The KK Gitama police post was empty.
Askari anakamata wale wanaua, anakamata waizi, anakamata wale ambapo ni walivu. Na sasa kama tumesoma kambi, walivu wao wakija tutawafanya nini?
The 4 police officers have been recalled to Lare, leaving the community without a local security presence.
Na kwa wakati huu ni wakati mbaya sana. Watu wengi hao vijana hawataki kufanya kazi. Wanataka tu kupata za hapa. Na hao kama si kambi tutapotea.
As calm slowly returns, residents are pleading with local leaders to help rebuild the post and restore order.
MP wetu wanatinje aingilie kati, akuja atusaidie, atujengee hiyo kambi na askari warundi ili maisha yaendelee. Lakini bila hiyo askari tutakuwa hatarini.
Investigations into the arson attack are ongoing, but so far no arrests have been made. Ben Chumba, Sunday Express.
To politics, leaders of the opposition, led by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, have opposed the implementation of a proposed nuclear power project in Uyombo village, Matsongoni Ward, Kilifi County. The leaders have threatened to move to court to halt the project, arguing that the presence of a nuclear facility would devastate the region's thriving tourism industry by turning it into a perceived danger zone for visitors.
The tranquil coastal village of Uyombo in Masangoni Ward, Kilifi County, is at the center of a heated political storm.
Watoto hata kwenda kwa vyuo vikuu ni shida. Mambo ya madawa ni shida. Shida ya mihadarati ni shida. Si namna hiyo? Na kwa hivyo tumekuja kuleta ukombozi.
A 500 billion shillings nuclear power project earmarked for the area has drawn fierce criticism from opposition leaders who are now threatening to move to court to block it. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka said the project is not only dangerous, but also symbolic of misplaced government priorities.
Tunamwamilisha watu wa Marindi aende kotini mara moja kwa niaba ya sisi zote viongozi wa upinzani kukataa mambo ya nuclear Malindi.
Hii mambo ya nuclear mnajua hapa Malindi na Kilifi ni pahali ya watalii. Ni pahali tuko na wageni wengi. Tukilete mambo ya mtambo wa nuclear itaudhi watu wetu. Kweli ama uongo?
Nimeambiwa kwamba hapa Malindi kwamba wanataka kuweka ile plant ya na hiyo plant hawajahusisha wale wenyeji wa hapa.
The opposition also raised alarm over the controversial housing levy, accusing the government of diverting funds collected from the levy to unrelated projects.
Hivi sasa ule ushuru wa nyumba, watu wa Malindi, hizi nyumba wanajenga, wanasema sasa wana pesa nyingi wamepora kutoka kwenu. Wameanza kutumia kwa mambo mengine, na tunasema housing levy is the biggest fraud.
And speaking separately during a church service in Makueni County, Cabinet Secretary Dr. Alfred Mutua took a swipe at Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, accusing him of playing second fiddle in the opposition coalition.
It's a national icon, known internationally, Kalonzo Musyoka. Gachagua amekuwa MP kwa one term, 5 years. Na Vice President, Deputy President kwa 1 3/4 years. Toto miaka yake ya serikali ni about 6.5 years amefanya. Sasa swali ni hili, ni nani wa kufuata mwingine? Issue Gachagua following Kalonzo.
Elsewhere, in a significant show of political alignment, Orthodox churches across the region have announced their support for Professor Fred Matiang'i, rallying behind his leadership through the Jubilee Party.
We are declaring a full support, morally, spiritually, and through prayers, the voice of Jubilee Party, through Mheshimiwa Kioni, that Fred Matiang'i is on our shoulders to carry to the vote, to pray to the vote, to vote to become the president.
Now, still on politics, Cabinet Secretary for Public Service Geoffrey Ruku has launched an attack on opposition leaders, accusing them of fueling divisive politics. Ruku, who was seemingly taking a swipe at former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's reference to certain communities as cousins, says the utterances undermine national unity and threaten to polarize the country. The Cabinet Secretary, who spoke during the ACK Diocese of Embu's Education Sunday event at St. Anne's Kiriari Girls Secondary School, reaffirmed the government's unwavering commitment to unity and equitable development across all regions.
Wale ambao wanasemanga ni wa shares, wale sasa wanasema serikali ya Kenya ni ya relatives. We can't build a nation when we balkanize our communities with shares, with cousins, with regions. We can only build a nation when we work together.
The government is making sure our primaries, our JEs, and the senior secondary schools have teachers. And remember, on top of the 70,000 teachers that the government has done, within a short of 2 years, September, we are also employing 24,000 teachers.
Kuna propaganda ambayo imekuwa ikipigwa hadi kwamba pesa za exam hazijapatianwa. Mimi kama mbunge nataka niwaambie kwamba katika budget yetu ya taifa tumeweka hizo pesa na tumeweka hata pesa ya capitation.
And now on social media, the hashtag cousins is one of the trending topics. What's your take in regard to that and other stories that we're already making, public through this particular channel? Get on X at KBC Channel 1. Now, mental wellness among men and uniformed officers featured prominently during a Thanksgiving service for uniformed officers in Embu County. Leading the service, Embu Catholic Diocese Bishop Peter Kimani called for the establishment of a comprehensive mental health support system in the wake of shocking statistics that reveal that nearly 60% of men have mental illness do not seek medical assistance.
Cases of suicide, especially among men, as well as cases of murder among uniformed officers targeted at their spouses, have triggered calls for a comprehensive strategy to address mental health challenges blamed for such incidences. The latest to wade into the campaign to roll out the strategy is the National Council of Churches of Kenya Upper Eastern Region.
Cases of suicide are happening in all sectors, including those whom we think are settled, those whom we think are okay. In the security sector, from the military, the police, killings every now and then, killing their colleagues, others committing suicide.
The council further advocated for the creation of mental health support systems in male-dominated spaces, such as churches, workplaces, and community centers.
High rates of suicide and mental health challenges and the lack of support systems have led to confusion and frustration in society. It's a wake-up call that men are in need of having support systems in matters of mental health.
The same message resonated during the Thanksgiving service for uniformed officers in Embu County, led by Embu Catholic Diocese Bishop Peter Kimani. The stakeholders regretted to see murder cases involving uniformed officers on the rise, calling for concerted efforts to deal with the problem.
We hear nowadays of people committing suicides, people killing each other, officers shooting their families. It is disheartening, and we need to stay strong. We need to know that there is a tomorrow. We need to know that we are stronger than the challenges that we see and that we fight.
Embu County Police Commander Samuel Mudhamia has in the meantime urged uniformed officers to seek counseling services whenever they face challenges in their marriage.
Let us pray for our country to be in peace. Because once the peace is not there, we are the most affected because of what happens.
So when these disputes come, and of course we don't pray they come, then you run. And don't listen to somebody else. And the problem you are making is these phones. Hii phone unataka kutraki mtu na ni binadamu, mlikutana naye akona miaka ni mzima, ni mtu mzima. Why should you follow your spouse? If she is yours, she is yours. If she is not, let her go.
Timothy Kipnusu for Sunday Express.
That gets us to a first break this Sunday. Remember, when we come back, we're going to be addressing postpartum depression. Your views are welcome. Get us on X. See you in a few.
Tracy, ulifikisha doza trip?
Sijafikisha bado. Saving for retirement has been my biggest priority.
So wendi trip, nilikuambia jua kali kuna do. Mimi venye nimejipanga na hii biashara yangu, sione nikiwa sorted.
Trip bado tunaenda. Na by the way, do you save for retirement?
Kwani mimi ni mzee? I'm still young and I've got plenty of time to start saving later. Then again, si watu wa jua kali, hatunanga hizo ma pension plans.
Kwani ujui unaweza register with an individual pension plan yenye iko regulated na RBA?
Inawakaje?
Una deposit any amount of money at any time na uko guaranteed ukikuwa mzee. Maisha yako itakuwa nywe.
Baadaye vile nakushua ni ukweli. Hadi mimi nili boost savings zangu kwa scheme yetu ya job.
Really?
Nilijua siwezi kuwa kijana forever. Sis, usikose kujipanga mapema. Tutakuwa wazee wa maana.
Ebu nionyesheni kuwa mzee wa maana.
Ensure you save and plan for your retirement during your youthful working days. Provided you are earning an income, you can join a retirement benefit scheme registered by Retirement Benefits Authority and safeguard your tomorrow. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Kenya. Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all.
We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health.
Someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about The Viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good Morning Kenya, every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
Childbirth is considered a blessing, but at times, it is not so much of a blessing, it turns to become a burden. That is matters of postpartum depression. How do we deal with it, especially in light of stigma and the prevalence rate that is currently at 17 to 23% in urban areas and 11 to 14% in rural areas, with the demographic leading in this particular statistics being teenagers. I'm joined by none other than Jane Ngatia, who's a counseling psychologist. Thank you very much for making time.
Thank you too.
Now we have the numbers there, and even before we speak matters of postpartum depression, there's just that report that has been made that over 60% of men who are suffering from mental illness one way or another are not seeking help. Quick comment to that particular report.
True. They are not seeking help because particularly in the African culture, men are expected to, hold on in terms of be strong, you are the head of this or that, particularly at family level, and so they don't seek that help. Sometimes they are not sure whether they really need to and where do they find the help. Yeah.
So it's a society as it is, and also they feel that as a head of families, they're not to seek help for such. We'll get to that. Now, talking about postpartum depression from your professional view, how do we, or rather, what is postpartum depression?
A good question there. Yes, postpartum depression is first depression, and it is part of the broader picture of when we say a person is depressed, because we have different types, but postpartum depression specifically has to do with the coming of a baby, birth of a baby.
Yes, how different then is it between postpartum depression and baby blues?
Oh, very different. When we say that a person has postpartum depression, it has taken a longer duration. The baby blues are usually shorter, associated with the fatigue of the mother because of that duration of waiting for the baby, the anxiety associated with it. But once it doesn't go in a few days, because it should, then the person enters to the next level, and then we say they have actually postpartum depression.
So what are the symptoms, and at what point can one tell that they need help? What are the telltale signs?
Yeah, symptoms are usually very glaring. The mother particularly will look like they are sad. We expect a mother will be so excited upon the arrival of the baby. Unfortunately, for some who get into that depression, they look sad, they don't look excited anymore, and sometimes they complain of fatigue. They may even have aches, body aches, joints, headache, and all that. And they may also look particularly hopeless, helpless. Sometimes they complain they are not able to sleep, even though the baby may not really be the cause in that case.
All right.
Yeah.
So would you term postpartum depression as prevalent? I know we have the statistics, but in the value chain, do you support the findings?
Yes, I do. It is quite prevalent, and probably because of the problems that already are existing, pre-existing.
Pre-existing.
Yeah.
Now let's tackle that. Especially, are there unique cultural or social factors that influence or are driving the numbers when it comes to postpartum depression?
Oh yes, quite a number of them. You realize that when a mother gets a baby, and by the way, fathers too will get postpartum depression.
Oh.
Yes, they do.
Interesting.
Yes, but both of them could get it at the same time or at different times. But focusing on the role of the community has a lot to do. The support of the community has always been very critical in terms of supporting the mother, even listening to the mother, express herself, receive the baby, because apparently, particularly in the African cultures, the baby belongs to the community. So when that does not happen, especially in the urban areas, then the mother is left by themselves. It's like they have to sort themselves out. How does the baby come? Is the baby feeding? Is the baby okay? There need to be people. And traditionally, they are used to be, especially in the African setting, they are used to be, the visiting, checking on the mother who has just come from, getting this baby from hospital, apparently. And they hold the baby even longer than the mother will. And that helped quite a lot because it gives relief to the mother. Yes. So culture, community has a lot to do.
All right. But then there's a question of when we're feeling sad about this baby that is considered a blessing, we are not quite able to say that, yes, I've delivered, but this baby is becoming a nuisance, or is a nuisance, or is making the stigma around speaking out. How do we tackle that?
Yes, there is quite, some stigma attached, because ordinarily we expect that the mother will be very happy, the entire family, the father and everyone, that is, if there is an entire family. But when the mother seemingly is sad, one would wonder, it brings confusion, because this is a happy time. This is a time of rejoicing. And ordinarily would say a visitor has come. When we receive visitors, we are expected to be happy, Regina.
Yes.
But when the opposite happens, and then there is confusion of, could this probably not be their baby? Is it that they never wanted the baby? Which may not be the case. And so the mother or the father may not speak out. So they suffer quietly. And that's what now proceeds and becomes more serious as postpartum depression.
Is it possible to say that individuals may be predisposed to getting postpartum depression? Is there a link to that, or does this just happen?
Yes, circumstances around the coming of the baby who is expected. As time draws closer, more preparation is done. That's the natural way of doing it. But when there isn't enough, let's talk about even the economic crisis. There isn't enough. What is the baby coming to where? How will they go to school? People project
where will they be
even
delivered?
Oh yes, and about the hospital bills and all that kind of thing. So those circumstances around there can actually aggravate the idea of, yes, I'm expecting a baby, we really need this baby, but then what? This environment is not very supportive. And at the same time, there is a lot of anxiety that has to do with the coming of the baby. But worse still, if the mother particularly is already predisposed to other forms of depression or other problems, then that becomes a precursor to postpartum depression.
How do we treat it?
Well, good question again. Yes, very easy. The weight can be so heavy, but it is manageable. There is hope, especially for young mothers, young fathers. Talk therapy. Talk therapy is simply like we are talking over here, Regina. Let me express myself. I need audience. I need to be listened to. I need not to be judged. And that's why we talked about the stigma need to go. I mean, it is a condition. And again, I need to get out of that situation in my head. I need to live today and believe that this baby will not be trouble. And this baby will get their own support. So it is good to be optimistic, in other words. And it is good to be able to talk about what we feel, because this is an emotional occurrence.
It's an emotional occurrence.
True.
But then the question is, do we have this support available, in our healthcare system? Have we made provisions for this?
Partially, I would say yes.
Right.
Some of the hospitals, because in the modern time, all mothers are expected to deliver safely in a health facility. So they offer what we call post-delivery counseling. It's a kind of debriefing. And the mother is given an opportunity to say what they feel. And then they are given assurance that the baby is fine. You delivered, the baby well, and all will be well. But in some, because of maybe the population of the mothers delivering, and maybe expertise are not there to do that kind of debriefing, it may not be available.
Now, what about this setup? We have unique families where we have either single parent families. We also have families, persons able differently. Postpartum depression for them takes a different turn because of where they are.
Yeah, it does.
How do we address that?
What would happen in such a situation? We need the mother, the single father, the person able differently are being supported by the family members. Everyone belongs in a family unit. There's always the extended or the nuclear. So the family members need to be aware, and that's why I believe we are talking about it here, that they need to support this person because they are the ones who are available. They are the immediate support system. So that is very important, and no one should be discriminated.
Where do the men come into this conversation, Madam Gatia? Because when you say childbirth is associated fully with a woman, she's the one who is likely to pick the hospital, pick out the clothes. At what point, should the men be involved in this particular value chain to bring
that's a very good question, which is going to give us a great insight. Yes, men should be involved. Where there's a man in the picture who is walking all the way with the mother who is expecting a baby, need to be involved from day one. When the mother expects that baby, by the way, the process of the baby growing in the mother's womb is also very critical. It's very important because what the mother feels is likely to be experienced by the baby, you know, amazingly, long after birth. So it is important for the man to be involved, to be in the picture, to ensure that they are talking nice, positive things, so that when the baby eventually comes, the mother is already comforted. And that also reduces chances of the father developing postpartum depression. It's communal. It is unity. It is support for one another.
All right. Now, as we work this to a close, this is a conversation I think we need to keep on having.
True.
And they've said it's intentional present fatherhood. That would be the key to unlocking this particular state. In the case of gender-based violence, or rather, these cases, either children who are born as proceeds or rape and such, and this may be a teen who is begetting a child. How can the community coalesce or rally behind these particular teens to ensure that they do not suffer this?
And that is important, especially because the young girl, the single mother, single fathers probably also happen in some rare cases, but whatever the case, this girl is carrying a life with her. It is still very important to support her all the way, the community. And I go back to the community because the community has lost the position that they used to hold. They have taken different position altogether, or they don't care anymore. I'm not exempting myself, but we are saying let anyone carrying a baby be supported. At some point, they need to deliver that baby, they need the community, they need the family, and this is a member of the community who is coming. They need to be received.
Okay. Now, there is one question before we bring this to a close. Medicine, or rather medication that is given during, or rather prescribed to a person dealing with postpartum depression, how safe is it for that lactating mother?
That is easy to deal with, especially from the medical perspective.
Right.
I believe a gynecologist, medical personnel will be able to advise, and that is one reason why a mother should follow through the prenatal clinics, so that they are advised and they are helped by the medical personnel.
Parting shot as we bring this to a close, Madam Gatia.
Yes, Kenyans, I like speaking to Kenyans and to young mothers and any mother, any father. This is a responsibility. It's a great responsibility and a great honor to be a father, to be a mother. Let's do it together, community, families. Let's build strong families, strong communities. Eventually, we get a strong country, and that is Kenya that we love.
Indeed, that is Jane Gatia, who is a counseling psychologist, and she has been our guest tonight when we have been discussing matters of postpartum depression, matters of that saying, away with the stigma, is that postpartum depression is real, treatable, and no mother should suffer in silence. Let's talk about it. Let's have it addressed. Now, we move to matters budget. Remember that John Badi, CS National Treasury, is going to be making his maiden presentation of the budget 2025-2026 next week on Thursday, and we are going to be there for it. What is in there for you and I? Now, the digital asset tax will reduce by half whole of the digital service tax, while agent provisions are set to be repealed if the Bill 2025 is enacted in its current form. These are among the key highlights of by a tax expert, Felix Okach, who was on KBC English Service show to analyze the provisions of the Finance Bill 2025. I prepared this report. Here it goes. Those earning from the digital space had raised concerns over the digital asset tax at the rate of 3% when it was first introduced under the Finance Act of 2023, terming it prohibitive for the growth of the nascent sector.
And now the government has proposed in the Finance Bill 2025 to reduce the digital asset tax by half to 1.5%. Proponents have welcomed the proposal, noting that it would ease the tax burden on individuals and companies and nurture emerging technologies, as well as encourage tax compliance and attract investments into the digital and fintech space if enacted.
Crypto and the money, digital money. So those are changes coming in the marketplace. And it's important that the regulators be part and parcel of the change.
The Finance Bill 2025 also seeks to expand the scope of the significant economic presence tax by removing the previous exemptions for non-resident entities with an annual turnover of below 5 million shillings. This is likely to bring more digital service providers owned by foreigners into the tax bracket in Kenya. In addition, the Finance Bill 2025 proposes to amend the VAT Act to ensure that both digital and traditional broadcasting services are subject to the same VAT treatment. This means services offered by digital content providers will be taxed at the same rate like traditional radio and television broadcasts, promoting fairness and consistency in the taxation of broadcasting services. This will take effect on 1st of July 2025 if the Finance Bill 2025 is enacted by the end of this month.
So they come in saying that, let tell you that, let's say, for example, certain taxes.
Okay.
VAT is zero rating, some of them are zero rated. We're not going to start immediately, we start them over time. And that means there'll be more public participation again. And then this power is given to the minister and also the KRA to decide which taxes we have to be added progressively, not immediately, but
Okay.
but progressively.
Kenya Revenue Authority maintains it will operate within the confines of the Data Protection Act of 2019 when administering tax and in its tax collection services. Kenya Revenue Authority's assurance comes on the back of concerns that the tax agency is likely to abuse a provision in the Finance Bill 2025 requiring that businesses integrate their systems with KRA to unfairly access trade secrets and private or personal data held on behalf of customers or collected in the course of their business operations. The Kenya Revenue Authority says it will not flout the Constitution and other relevant policies and regulations. Regina Manyara reporting for Sunday Express.
Well, let's just say it's matters budget, and you expect a lot of us who are in the business desk to be handling such. That was a report I was preparing there. Now, over 4,000 residents who were displaced by the construction of the 20 billion shillings Mwachi Dam project in Kwale County have started to rebuild their livelihoods after receiving 2 billion shillings from the World Bank as compensation. The community-driven livelihood restoration program initiative that integrates sustainable land and livelihood management seeks to identify the social and economic needs of the people displaced by the dam construction, including how to acquire land and resettle those affected.
In the heart of Kwale County, a major infrastructure project continues to rise. Located in Fulungani village, the 20 billion shilling Mwachi Dam project construction, funded by the national government and the World Bank, is ongoing. The Vision 2030 flagship project that aims to supply an estimated 186,000 cubic meters of water daily to Kwale and Mombasa counties resulted in the displacement of over 4,000 residents in the area. This delayed the start of the project for 5 years, owing to several factors, key among them the compensation of affected persons.
Na huu mradi ulipoletwa na World Bank na serikali kuu, na huku kwetu kuna gatuzi, serikali ya ugatuzi. Sisi tulikataa mwanzo. Mimi niliondolewa na mradi, niko kule kwa Mwachi Dam, nikarudi huku.
Mradi huu ulipoletwa hapa kwetu, kwa kweli kwa mara ya kwanza tulikuwa na maswali ya kujiuliza kwamba huu mradi utatusaidia kwa njia namna gani.
This has since been resolved following the disbursement of 2 billion shillings by the World Bank to compensate the affected residents.
Kwa hivyo mradi tangu mwanzo mimi nililipwa awamu ya kwanza. Nililipwa vizuri na wenzangu vizuri, awamu ya pili watu wakalipwa. Na kuna pesa ile compensation tulilipwa, alafu kuna pesa ya disturbance tulilipwa. Hata hivi hapa nilipo sasa mimi ninashukuru kwa sababu sahi niko na nyumba na niko na vibanda vyangu na niko na nyumba nimerenti. Sasa sahi sina shida, niko nyumbani.
And now they are rebuilding their livelihoods.
Na nikaenda sehemu ya Sembe ambayo nilinunua shamba kubwa. Hivi sasa kule nimelima ekari 10.
Na tunashukuru kwa sababu tulikuwa wengine hatuna nyumba tukajenga. Tulikuwa watoto wamekaa nyumbani hawaendi shule, wawapeleka shule.
Under the Livelihood Restoration Program, the allocation aims to identify the social and economic needs of people displaced by the dam construction, including how to acquire land and resettle them.
The Livelihood Restoration Program is a post-compensation program aimed at restoring the lives of the over 4,000 households which were affected in their livelihoods. For example, we have the crops, the livelihoods which were affected, the crops, businesses, and social and economic infrastructure.
We are supposed to undertake their resettlement, coordinating with National Land Commission to compensate them over 4 billion Kenya shillings. We've already done 2 billion shillings, and the government has provided an extra 2.1 billion, which we are starting to pay this month.
In March this year, PS for Irrigation CPA Fantas Kimotho said the launch is set for 2027, adding that the restoration program intends to uplift the lives of the residents and access water for farming.
So the balance of 2 billion, we are going to be paying another 600 million in the next few months, and in the next financial year, we'll be paying the balance of 1.4 billion.
The Mwache Dam project is expected to harvest flood waters from the Mwache River Basin in Kinango sub-county and address persistent water shortages in the coastal region. The residents here are urging other Kenyans to embrace such initiatives being implemented by the government or donor-led projects, and instead of opposing it, find ways to benefit from it. Abdiaziz Hashim from Kwale County.
Production of pigeon peas in the continent is set to improve following the rollout of an improved seed variety in response to the changing weather patterns. The rollout is expected to enhance food security, build resilience of the crop, and promote climate-smart agriculture. Tess Mutahi has the details of the climate-smart farming plan.
In the heart of Makueni County, varieties of pigeon peas flourish. Cultivated in the semi-arid region, the versatile legume is largely known by the farmers for its drought tolerance and nutritional value. International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics Africa Regional Director Dr. Rebi Harawa says pigeon peas is a good source of plant-based protein, carbohydrates and fiber, providing essential nutrients for human health. She added that pigeon peas are considered a climate-smart crop due to their drought tolerance and soil-enhancing properties.
We have several varieties, medium duration, short duration, long duration. But we are now trying to look at how the soil is actually getting improved by this pigeon pea.
For climate resilience point of view, it's really important to look at pigeon pea from the holistic approach, above ground as well as below ground. And so we really hope from this project we really increase the stress resilience, optimize food soil interaction.
Dr. Sanjeev Gupta, a plant breeder at Indian Council of Agricultural Research, noted that through the project, the scientists have developed several pigeon pea varieties, including the high-yielding hybrid varieties and the early maturing varieties, which are crucial for smallholder farmers in semi-arid areas, enabling them to benefit from multiple harvests per year and improve livelihoods. He added that the pigeon pea consumption is high in India, which provides a ready market for the pigeon pea surplus produced in Kenya, hence the need for partnership.
I have interacted with the farmers of the Kenya, and their main constraints of the pigeon pea production is the market, because here the preference of the cream-seeded types, while in India we need to import brown or the creamy, both the types.
This crop also has an export market. In the region of Eastern Southern Africa, most of the production that is taking place, the excess production gets to markets in Asia.
Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization officials noted that they have also contributed to the breeding efforts, which focus on enhancing its drought resistance, which is crucial for sustainable agriculture in these areas.
That's why we are looking for this germplasm, sharing of germplasm from partners, so that we can use them to improve our breeding program and be able to export and, of course, now improve the pigeon pea sector, especially in Kenya.
While pigeon peas is a significant crop in Kenya, particularly in arid and semi-arid regions, the scientists have noted that the pigeon peas are part of a broader strategy to promote climate-smart agriculture. For Sunday Express, I am Teresa Mutai.
From Machakos to Bungoma, where a family is appealing to Kenyans for financial aid to get specialized treatment for their kin suffering from throat cancer. Jairus Juma has been battling throat cancer since December 2024. The family is now seeking 2 million shillings for treatment abroad.
Jairus Juma has been fighting throat cancer since December 2024. Initially, he had been treated for what doctors believed was an ulcer.
Tulikuwa tumeenda kwa several hospitals, lakini walikuwa wanatuambia ni ulcers na ni acid imepanda. Sasa tumeendelea na hiyo jani, tukaenda several hospitals Bungoma, na tulikuwa tuna spend. Juu ukienda hapa unaambiwa ni acid, enda hii.
However, when the pain persisted, the family visited Kakamega Referral Hospital, and through several tests, the doctors made the dreaded diagnosis that Jairus was suffering from stage 3 throat cancer.
Sasa kukuja hapa Kakamega, wakatuambia mzee akona cancer stage 3.
Millicent Kessa, his wife, says due to his weak state, doctors said he cannot begin chemotherapy.
Wakatuambia hawawezi wakamweka kwa kemo kwa sababu kemo ni dawa mzito na hakuli, lazima aende operation.
With the expensive cost of treatment, the family was forced to sell half an acre of their inherited land, which was still not enough.
Shamba yenye tulikuwa nayo ilikuwa 3/4 yenye tulirithi kutoka kwa baba mkwe. Na hiyo process yote kuanzia December hadi wakati huu tuliuza half of it, tukabaki na quarter. Sasa ilipofika saa operation tukajikuta hatuna chochote. Nimejaribu kuform WhatsApp group, out of 2 million nilitoka na 20,000 peke yake.
They are appealing for 2 million shillings from well-wishers to facilitate treatment.
Mimi ninaomba tu Wakenya wenzangu, sina mtu mwingine, na bank two hopes kwa Wakenya.
Anyone willing to support the family can channel their contribution through the pay bill number 806-2447. 806-2447. Account name Juma Jairus, or send via M-Pesa 0701 337950. 0701 337950. Millicent Kessa.
Let's take that again. Should you be willing to assist Jairus Juma there, the number there, you can reach out to the family via M-Pesa on 0701 337950 under the name Millicent Kessa. Further details are available on our website. That is www.kbc.co.ke. Now, a 13-year-old girl from Yatia in Baringo North who was abducted has been found safe and sound 3 days after she disappeared. The girl was reportedly taken by 2 men from Tiati and forced to walk over 100 kilometers to Kapedo East in Tiati constituency. Her brothers, who abducted alongside her, were later abandoned along the road. While the incident sparked fears of banditry, government officials have dismissed the claim, attributing the abduction to a family dispute. Baringo County Commissioner Stephen Sangolo confirmed that the girl was rescued following a coordinated search effort involving officers, the Kenya Red Cross, and the local chiefs from Tiati. She has since been taken to Baringo Referral Hospital for medical checkup and psychological support.
Unajua watu alisema akienda huko lazima tutumie language nyingine ndio tupate nini mtoto ikuwa safe. Sasa akatumia, nikamwambia sasa mtoto ni yangu, hata mtoto saa ile mtoto ameniona kwa gari alisema ndio yule papa yangu. Sasa
lazima wachunguze vizuri, ni huyu mtu mbona akachukua mtoto, na pia mtoto ni mdogo, unaona, na bado ni mtoto wa shule, baada ya kwenda the government, so suppose washughulikie na achukuliwe hatua kali.
We supported the aspect of referral to the facility and also the counseling sessions. We'll also work closely with the administration to support that we see how the families are united, especially for the aspect of restoring family links.
Na tunawaomba familia zetu iwapo kuna mizozo katika familia tuweze kuzisuluhisha kwa njia ambayo ni mzuri, kwa sababu this is a sort of a family issue between families which led to abduction of the girl.
Well, I'm just happy that she's home, and we hope that the medical checkup is going to prove that she's hale and hearty and get on to matters counseling to avoid the psychological trauma that may come from the ordeal. Now, the Kenya Revenue Authority has so far collected approximately 17.2 billion shillings from the tax amnesty program. The figure, which is past the half-mark target of 30 billion, according to KRA, is expected to go up in the coming days as the deadline for filing of returns and the amnesty program quickly approaches. With 22 days left to the 30th of June deadline, eligible taxpayers have been urged to leverage on the multiple platforms availed by the taxman to file their returns of 2024. This even as the tax service roadshow organized by KRA and its media partner, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, came to a close after nearly a month on the road. The caravan, which has been in the coast, concluded its tour in Kwale County, visiting Kwale, Matuga, Kombani, Tiwi, Kanana, Msambweni, and finally Ukunda.
Engaging with Kenyans, receiving their feedback, just hearing what it is that we can do to improve our products. Thank you for filing your tax returns. Remember, the deadline is 30th of June. On July 1st, 2025, the tax amnesty program will be over. And just in case you've not taken advantage of it, you will have your tax debt.
It's been very successful, and KBC is a reliable media partner. Using our various stations, we are in every region, and in this campaign, we've been able to deliver in every part of this country, every counties that we have been to. We've worked with our national stations and our regional stations, and we have had very good publicity, and we've been able to deliver on the set targets.
Well, from Ukunda, now let's head back to the sporting arena with none other than my colleague Daniel Wahome. Good evening, Daniel. Take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Regina. And let's say this, a dramatic volleyball weekend where the General Service Unit defeated Kenya Ports Authority in straight sets to lift the men's league title in an intense final played at the Kasarani Gymnasium in Nairobi. Dominating the final from the get-go, GSU took a 5-point lead in the first set and eventually won 25-19. The second set was a closely contested affair, and GSU trailed in the opening minutes of the set before overturning the score to again win 25-21. KPA fought hard in the final to push the game to a fourth set, but GSU were not letting the title go as they scrolled to victory thanks to a 25-22 third set win.
Victory is still in play, ladies and gentlemen, and it's going to be Wanyama. Congratulations, KPA, congratulations.
Well, moving on is that the national soccer team, the Harambee Stars, will play Chad in a second consecutive friendly match on Tuesday evening in Marrakesh, Morocco. Harambee Stars, who drew 0-0 in their first friendly against the same opponent last night, remain winless in 7 matches since they defeated Namibia by 2-1 in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers in September last year. The friendly matches are being used by coach Benny McCarthy to prepare the national team for the African Nations Championships, CHAN, to be jointly hosted by Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania in August. Since beating Namibia, the Harambee Stars have lost 3 matches and drawn 4 times, with their heaviest defeat coming in October last year when they lost by 4 goals to 1 to Cameroon. Besides the African Nations Championship, the Harambee Stars have 4 FIFA World Cup qualifiers lined up later this year against the Gambia and Seychelles in September, and Burundi and Cote d'Ivoire in October. And those qualifiers and CHAN will be live on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner. Now, more than 100 judokas from across the country gathered in Kitui County for the Kenya Judo Federation National League. This marks a major step in efforts to decentralize the sport and tap grassroots talent.
The tatami mats were ablaze with energy as over 100 judokas showcased their skills at the Kenya Judo Federation National League held at the Kenya Medical Training College in Kitui County. This is the second time the national trials are being held outside Nairobi in a deliberate move by the federation to scout and nurture talent from the grassroots.
You look at, even from the first glance to the event, you see under 10 years. And this is exemplary. This is something which might not have happened before in other tournaments, especially when the schools are open. This means that Kitui is actually embracing it further than what you have been doing.
Federation Deputy President Duncan Chemirio noted that holding leagues outside Nairobi helps the federation reach untapped potential and promote the sport countrywide.
Our intention actually is to go further from the counties to the schools, and then without the counties, and we all know that sports is devolved, and we need it supported from all quarters.
Duncan also praised local leadership for embracing judo and introducing the sport in schools, a move that aims to equip children with self-discipline and self-defense skills from an early age.
We are promoting the Judo in Schools program, which is an initiative by the International Judo Federation. And we believe that the future is in the young people, the young judokas, the juniors and the cadets. We can see a lot of potential in them.
As the federation continues to build momentum, eyes are now set on the upcoming Olympic qualifiers.
We have seen much improvement. We have seen many judokas coming on board. The game has changed now that we have an IJF coach from Japan. We are anticipating the 2028 Olympics. We are going to have at least 5 players.
The ultimate goal is a strong Kenyan team flying Kenya's flag at the 2028 Olympic Games in the United States.
And on to motorsport, where Sebastian Ogier survived a difficult final stage to win a record 5th WRC Rally Italia Sardinia after fending off charging Oit Tanak to win by just 7.9 seconds Sunday. It marked back-to-back wins for the Toyota Gazoo racing Yaris Rally 1 Frenchman following his Rally du Portugal triumph last month and his third victory of the season from just 4 starts. Alvin Evans, who ended the rally 4th behind second-placed Oit Tanak and Carl Rovanpera, so his championship lead trimmed to just 17 points over teammate Ogier, while Rovanpera dropped to 3rd in the standings. Tanak and Thierry Neuville remain 4th and 5th respectively after round 6 of 14. The WRC continues later this month at the legendary EKO Acropolis Rally Greece, based in Lamia from the 26th to the 29th of June. Well, in last night's bulletin, we had the winners of the Women's French Open Tennis Championship title. And it's been dramatic at Roland Garros. So, Carlos Alcaraz with another one. Full details coming in our bulletin tomorrow at 1 p.m. I've got to say, I've just seen the final scores now, and it's really been dramatic. You don't come from 2 sets down and just win over 5 sets. That's a story that I know Backley, Okumu, and also Moki will be working on. My name is Daniel Wahome. See you bright and early tomorrow at 10 a.m. on Sports Check. Have a good evening.
Well, that puts a cap on Matters Sunday Express. Some of the developing stories is the mysterious death of Albert, who apparently succumbed to injuries, as per the report from the Central Police there, indicating that he had head injuries that the family dispute, saying there's no correlation with the injuries that are on his body. We will be keeping tabs on that. That's a developing story. Come Thursday the 12th, when John Badi, CS National Treasurer, is going to be making his maiden presentation of the budget 2025-2026, we are going to be on that too. Have a great week ahead, and remember to keep the faith and be still. I'm Regina.
Are you a talented artist, or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Machinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with our music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream, all for free. Studio Machinani, ride any talent.
Wakati alijifungua mtoto akawa katika hali ya mdomo haijakaa mzuri, unaona, anapata wakati ananyonya anakuwa na issues, so usaidizi tunaomba mtoto afanye surgery.
I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness.
The first surgery, and we are grateful to God, led by Dr. Mesha Konguti and the team. I want to appreciate the team. The baby comes from Baringo County, a place called Kiati constituency, 2 months old, baby Lomoy. And we are grateful, and this is what Save a Life is doing in partnership with Help a Child Face Tomorrow. This is amazing, and I'm happy. Personally, I'm happy.
I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You will lead me through the fire.
I'm so very excited that we just finished an operation on a 2-month-old child known as Lumai, who had just come from a very remote area in Baringo, known as Tiati constituency. Very significant thing is that this child is malnourished. He's not been getting enough food to eat. But when you also look at the mother also is quite, you can see that he has nothing to eat. He doesn't have the strength. He doesn't have the breasts that are sagging down. There's no milk in it. They are not starved. In fact, for those some of the doctors who have never seen this, they were saying that, look, maybe we cannot be able to do this kind of case at this particular moment. But we say, look, we see a number of children like this one, and I said, look, can you imagine? They have come all many miles away from home. They have come to Nairobi. And then you are returning them back without doing anything else. That is one of the worst discouraging things. It's like they have lost hope because they have come to the highest hospital in the country, and if nothing was being done, you basically still condemning them to go back home and just die on that. And I thank the team that has been able to do this particular thing. Even to have you in the meeting coming in and helping us on this aspect, so the world can be told that, look, we are still doing something good. Even if there's no hope somewhere, there's hope in this particular place. Yeah.
Hello, good people.
This is Save a Life. Tunazidi kubadilisha maisha Kenya nzima. My name is Dr. Joseph Moremi. Leo narudisha